Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. For those that have no idea who I am, which is totally fair, my name is Tim Adams, and I am working on my own original comic book. This is a barbarian fantasy about a giant dude named Domini and some shenanigans. So here is page 1 of the book, all penciled. Here's page 2. And now I am working on page 3. I got my layout. I got some rough layouts right here for the next couple pages. So just kind of, these are just real rough, just kind of give me an idea of what I wanted to do. So this is the page we're working on drawing right now. So yeah, so I figured I'll go ahead and just do this on stream. So for one, just to make sure I actually do get it done, and you know, sometimes it's fun. I've had some fun in the past live streaming these pages. You know, people have come and hung out, and while I've worked on them, and it's been a good time. So thought it would be kind of fun to try it again. So yeah. So anyway, so basically the sequence we got going on here is we got Domini here. He's been captured by these slavers, and they're bringing him in. They're taking him to this building here, and then we got our main female character, Elodie, and she's got some issues with what's going on. And then this page is her sneaking in. You know, we see the guards, you see that they're bringing Domini into the building, and then here she is kind of stealthing around, so we're kind of showing how stealthy she is, moving around. And then, excuse me, now we're going to start seeing her start cutting loose. We're going to start getting into some action. So her goal is she wants to, she needs Domini alive for reasons that that I have not explained yet. But yeah, so that's something we're gonna work on. And like this camera here, we're gonna try my best to keep everything in focus, but I can only zoom out so wide, and this is kind of a big paper. This is 11 by 17, so I'm gonna do my best to keep it in frame, but if I do get too much out, just feel free to yell at me in the chat. So these guys are gonna be like, wait, what? What? She's supposed to be, yeah, so this is like a real intense close-up on her. Yeah, I kind of want the little bits of hair, that little hair stream there. Yeah, and I'm intentionally keeping this real light, real loose at this stage, because I'm just trying to get the basics in, just kind of the basic foundation in. So if I kind of have them kind of looking kind of off kilter here, him kind of going what, and him kind of going like what. And these are supposed to be these two guys over here. So these guys here are these two people here. She's sneaking up behind them. And it's going to be pretty violent coming up. So they're like, wait, what? So they heard a little something. They're like, what is going on? What? And then the next scene here, we got them getting... Let's see. We're gonna have... she's got these gauntlets that shoot these little needle spikes. I kind of want to make sure I get that in there. And this is where we see that first kind of coming into action. This is the first time we're actually seeing those getting used. Not sure. Not sure I like that pose, but we'll leave that for now, and then we'll start getting, yeah, so these guys here, like, their heads are getting reeled back, like, ah, no. We're gonna have these big spikes kind of coming out of their head. So it's I'm kind of trying to simulate that classic shot you see in a lot of Hollywood movies. The best one I can think of is in The Matrix, where she chucks that knife at the dude, and then you see his head just whip back, and you see her throwing something, and then all of a sudden the guy's head just whips back, and you see that the knife's stuck in the forehead. I'm kind of doing that here with the spikes. Let's see. I'm not used to drawing faces upside down, so this is a kind of a fun challenge. Let's see. He's gonna have, yeah, I want both these needles to be like like smack dab in the middle of their, like right between their eyes. And his head's going to be tilted this way. He's got kind of a rounder nose. He's also got the goatee. Yeah, again, we're not worrying about details at this point. We're just trying to make sure the storytelling is clear and interesting and the posing's good. Still not 100% sure on her pose yet, but I just want to make sure I get a little something going on here. He's going to be holding a spear. Yeah, these guys are both holding spears. Going for a little bit more of that medieval style spear where they have the little stopper there, keeps a spear from going too far in to the body, so they can pull it out a little easier. He's like, wait, what? Now this shot is a little bit tricky because, yeah, it's a straight-on shot, so you can't really fake too much of it. Here, let's see if I can. Okay, let's see. Well, we'll see this guy. We'll kind of have this guy more. Let's see him more from behind. Holding his spear. I love these big close-up shots. I just... They're relatively quick to do, and they can be very effective if done right. But the thing is, you can't overuse them because they can become repetitive after a while. Okay, so let's see. So if we got... He's gonna be kind of looking back on like, what? So technically, yeah, they'd be switching sides because if they're here, well, technically this shot gives me a chance to kind of, the shot with the feet, just showing their feet, kind of gives me a chance to change that 180 a little bit. Because, no, this is, yeah, I think this is working. Yeah. So we have the goatee guy here, and then the bald dude. Okay. And then let some blood particles kind of spew out here. Yeah, he's got a real short nose, real square jaw, real broad shoulders. But I want him to be going. Let's see. Trying to get just this. Yeah, I really want to get a. Trying to get this just big going down. I'll tell you what here. Let's try this. Can I tilt it down a little bit? There we go. There. And I was trying to remember to zoom that back up when I. Yeah, so I want this guy here. you know, he's a little closer to her, so he's going to be bigger. He's going to be kind of in the back there. And we'll bring his head here. Maybe I should be kind of like this. So I'm going to flip this over because I want to make sure. Drawing heads upside down is a little tricky for me, so we're going to try doing it this way. These really thick eyebrows, which I like. And kind of the nicely coiffed hair. And then I want the big needle spike. I'm going to have a few needles, big spikes kind of just sticking right in his head. Blood dragging down. Yeah, this bottom panel here is probably going to be the most challenging one. So we're going to be. I foresee a lot of erasing in this one. Okay, so then we got that guy, his his mouth is going to be open like that. His eyes are probably going to be a bit smaller, but yeah, again, we're just trying to get, we're just getting roughed in. Okay, so then this guy, yeah, his back is like that. And I guess I can have his back kind of like that. So I can hit from that way. And this is the bald guy over here. This is this guy right here. So I'm going to try to keep his proportions right. Top of the head. He's got a short, real short nose. And then, yeah, again, we're at this point, kind of just want to make sure I get the, just get the storytelling, get the facial expression right. Yeah, I'm getting too caught up in details at this point. I gotta knock that off. But I want to make sure that her pose is cool and makes sense. So I think I'm on to something with that pose. But let's try if I can. Something like that, maybe. Well, kind of want to, let's move her over a little bit. Oops. Yeah, let's have her kind of like here-ish. Guys all got a bunch of spikes on them. We have a couple in the armor. I mean, they're gonna bounce off. Let's be honest, they're gonna bounce off that shoulder plate. They're gonna bounce off. You know what? No, I'm not gonna have spikes. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine in a lot of those fantasy movies where you see like people just getting stabbed with daggers or swords right through solid plate armor. It's like, no, that would not work that way. So, even though these are no slouch bullet, or they're no slouch spikes, she's got a She's got to make sure her aim is true. Every time this sound goes off, it always makes me jump. Let's see. Well, tell you what, let's try this. Let's try one where... Let's try one... Let's try one where she's kind of running at him. Got spikes galore. If we have her doing that, but then I'm probably overthinking this pose, but that's just how it goes sometimes, you know? Alright. Here's my plastic eraser. There we go. Let's see here. Let's try... So I want her kind of like, yeah, maybe doing something kind of like that, maybe. Her can be like here. The rest can be there, and this other one can be here. Yeah, well, if she's a little cut off by the frame, I don't think that's a bad thing. Let's see. Okay, I think we're on the right track though, so let's just shrink this down a little bit. Let's see. Something like that, maybe. Okay, I think we can work with that. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and switch to the sharpened pencil. Just make sure you give it a nice good sharpening. This top panel shouldn't take too long to finish up, so let's go ahead and bring this back up here. So let's see what a bit we need. So let's try to... There. Nope. Come in. Come in. There we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and just lighten this down. Just lightening down enough that I can still see it, but it's not going to interfere with the more finished line work I'm trying to do. Where did my square eraser go? Oh, man. Where did it go? Oh, no! Oh, man. Okay, fine. I guess we'll just have to improvise unless... Well, bummer. Oh, haha! Found it! Yeah, I really like this rectangular eraser. It just allows me to get some good I don't know, good erasing done, I guess. And then now I want to try to keep these as somewhat, closely symmetrical as possible. So I'm still going to be drawing pretty relatively light at this point, because I know there's a lot that's still going to be changed. Just making sure like the space behind her, the space on this side is equal to the space on that side, as close as possible. Now, nobody in real life has perfectly symmetrical faces, but this is comic books, this is fantasy, so we do kind of want to try to have as much, we're kind of idealizing everything, so we're trying to, make it work. We're not really after reality. We're after believability, but we're also after fun, Let's see. I think my light is a little too bright still. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. That way it's not quite so blown out. And rotating the page around like that not only makes it easier to get certain lines, but it also allows you to see the drawing from the different angles, and which helps point out any errors that you might be running into. You know, in case there's anything skewed or anything like that. And yes, even though she is a assassin in a fantasy world, of course she's going to have mascara. Could just be a genetic thing. Maybe she just naturally has really thick eyelashes. Who knows? But her hair is tied back in a ponytail, so but there's still plenty of hair on the side. I really want to make sure we can tell that this mask is going up over her ear, like this is a cloth mask, kind of going up over her ear. Let's see. Yeah, looks like this is. There we go. Okay. Her hair is black, so she's gonna give her some shadows on the hair, try to keep some highlights in there. This little trick I learned from watching a Brian Benjamin video. You can use a side of pencil and just throw in some shadows, shapes that look cool, and then just kind of outline them the way you like them, and then yeah, throw in rendering or whatever else you want to do. Based on that, it just kind of keeps that energy going. Let's see. Yeah, you really want to be careful about. Let's see. I don't know. Trying to imagine what this will look like inked, and I kind of want to, since the hair, a little bit of hair kind of coming in, since that's going to be. There's going to be a lot of black in that. I don't want to compete. Yeah, I don't want it to compete with the dark in the mask. Now, most of the mask is going to be done in color, so I don't want to render that too much. But it's also a very moody kind of scene. It's at night, so. Yeah, that's something I struggle with a lot. You know, starting out is like when you want something darker, you feel like you have to press harder, which is not the case, as a matter of fact. Let's see. You can do that, but it doesn't really serve any benefit, because the point of penciling, like if your goal was, you know, your final look of the image was going to be in the pencil stage, then yeah, you'd probably want to, you know, literally darken the image with, you know, either softer pencils or pressing harder, or some people, use black Prismacolor pencils. There's all kinds of ways you can go about doing that. But since this is all going to get inked, the pencil stage is just giving me notes basically on how I should ink this. So if I want an area that's solid black, I don't need to press harder. I just need to color it in. And technically, I don't even really need to fill it in, because I could just, draw a shape and put some X's in it, and that will tell me, hey, this is gonna be all black. And there's a lot of people that do that, and it works great for them. But I don't know. For me, I kind of like seeing what it looks like black. I kind of like seeing the colors in there, so I'm gonna throw them in. And I do want there to be a panel border, so let me get my... So yeah, not quite wide enough. Where's my other one? There it is. Organize your tools, folks. Don't be like me. Okay. As far as the width of those gutters, it's kind of a personal preference thing. I know the standard is 1/4 inch, but there's this thing. I have this book from Will Eisner talking about, page composition and panel borders and all that, and he makes a great point that the gutters, which is that space between the panels, the gutters are actually give that sense of time, so passing. So thicker gutters, when you have a wider gutter, it makes it seem like there's more time passing between frames, whereas if you thin that gutter out, it makes it a lot more immediate, to the point where you can even have them overlapping, and you can even have the panels overlapping, so it just feels like this is all stomping on top of each other. So I'm giving this really thin borders because I want this to I want this page to move pretty quick. This is going to be... Okay, hold on. I want to make sure I'm getting... Creative Faye has a donation from Coffee. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Creative Faye. I really do appreciate it. That's very generous of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see if I can... I should have that page pulled up. Oh, that is very kind of you. Thank you so much, Creative Faye. Hope you're all good out there. check something here real quick. Bear with me. Yeah, those guys watching, if you're not familiar, Creative Faye is a artist, comic creator as well. She and Fabrizio Aiello and myself, we've done it once before where we did a live stream together, the three of us, and it was a lot of fun. We're looking to do it some more, schedules and time permitting. I think as of now, the tentative schedule is next Monday, right? Faye, if you're out there, let me know. Otherwise, we can figure that out off screen. But yeah, stay tuned. I will definitely be letting you know, keeping you posted. Let's see. Let's just kind of. I don't know. She's looking a little boyish to me. I don't like that. There we go. Let's see, because I got the hair here kind of tucked in. Because her hair is all pulled back. Figuring out a lot of this as we go, folks. So thank you for bearing with me here. And so this is going to be her. Yeah, this is that kind of swoosh hair in front of her face. I was watching a David Finch video about drawing hair, and he kind of talked about how he does these kind of different shapes, kind of like this, where he it kind of just works. I don't know. Well, the way he does it kind of works. The way I'm doing it, not so much. But hey, you know, you kind of just got to go with it. So I'm gonna. For the sake of now, I'm just gonna fill this in like so. Have a little bit of gradients, and then fill this in some more. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. And then we'll just have little bits. Okay, just using size relationships of the different pieces to make sure everything is symmetrical as much as possible. I mean, there's no way this is going to be 100% symmetrical unless I just did it digitally and flipped it over, which I really don't want to do because that just gives such a flat, kind of artificial look. I kind of want there to be, you know, this is a hand-drawn piece, and I kind of want that energy. I don't know. There's some energy there if it's not 100% perfect that I kind of like, so we'll keep that there. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe the tip of the hair can kind of go like, yeah, that little line of beauty. There. So it looks a little bit more like hair rather than just like anything else besides hair. Get that line of beauty in there. Something like that, maybe. Something like that, and then we'll just yeah, we'll save the mask, all the mask shadows and all that stuff for when I do the coloring. I don't know. Well, we'll see. And come back and try it. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Okay, we'll stick with that for now. And then, now, let's go ahead and move on to this panel. I'm giving myself as much time to warm up in these panels before I get to this one. Let's see. His face is going to be kind of like that. Just for kicks and grins, let's go ahead and switch to these pencils here. I mean, I like both, and it's just more of a, comes down to whichever ones I feel like, I guess. All right. Kind of a rounded nose. Yeah, he's not scared. He's just more like, what's that? He's more like, what is going on? It's like me whenever I try to play a stealth game. It's not my, I'm not great at stealth, so anytime I try to stealth anything, it's always the inevitable. Who's there? What's that? You're like, oh. Kind of holding the spear like this. Maybe. Let's see here. Thinking how I want to do this here. Yeah, because then if he palms like that, and then his fingers wrap around here. So we wrap it around it like this. And someone's going like, who's there? It's going to be your pinky, and then your thumb would be here. Who's there? Who's there? So he's kind of like doing this, like, who's there? Yeah, I might have to shoot some reference or something for that, just to get that hand right, but... We'll see. We'll just kind of go with this for now. Sorry, I think every time I erase, I bump the microphone or something, so sorry about that. Because that is going to be happening a lot. Me erasing. Let's see. And it kind of makes sense that, yeah, the fingers kind of... So the pinky would go down the farthest, and then they each kind of went up as they went along. Spear's still not. Okay. Harjit4334 storyboarding. Thank you. No, I'm actually working on a comic book. This is page 3 of my original comic book. It's a barbarian fantasy comic. So I got. Oh, thanks so much for the follow, Harjit. I appreciate that. So this is page 1 of the book. This is my main character right here. His name is Dominai. He's a barbarian. He's currently being hauled in by some slavers, and then we got this mysterious girl here. Her name is Elodie, and she needs him alive for her own purposes. So we got page 2 here, where we got her sneaking in. So we got some of the slaver guards, and this is them shoving him into the door, and then this is her. You kind of see her skulking in, and then this is her sneaking in kind of behind these guards, and then this is the next page where she ends up dealing with these two guards here. So we got a close up on here. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so we got a close up, you know, her eyes just kind of showing how she's all like super focused, and yeah, she's kind of more of your, you know, stealthy rogue kind of character, to use D&D terms. And then yeah, so then these guys hear her, and then she's got these gauntlets that shoot these little dagger, these like little dagger spikes or little needle spikes that are going to take them out. Did I go to art school? No, I am self-taught. I've bought a lot of books and done a lot of self-study. As far as any kind of classes I've taken, there's a great website called Proko. He's got a YouTube channel too, where he offers a lot of great online classes. But otherwise, yeah, I am self-taught. Yeah, it's just kind of the way to go. I mean, I've thought, you know, everybody thinks about going to art school, but yeah, I don't know. It just, well, for one, it just didn't work out, and two, I'm not exactly sad how that went. I mean, the biggest advantage of art school, in my opinion, is connections, but you know, you can do that here. And hey, you know, hey, art school, it's different for everybody. I know. I mean, there's a lot of amazing artists I love that, yeah, I went to art school, but there's a bunch of great ones that didn't. So it's all just a matter of how much you want. But what kind of stuff do you like to draw? I wanted art school for character design, but they felt more... Yeah. Well... Yeah, well, that's... Yeah, there is something to that. I mean, art schools, man, are so expensive. It's kind of ridiculous. That's kind of why I like that Proco site on... because, I don't know, I think the prices are reasonable, and two, the instructors are actual working professionals. So in my experience, and just from what I've heard people say, was that you know, a lot of the instructors were people that hadn't really worked in the industry for a long time, and so they were giving them not necessarily the most accurate advice. So I mean, again, it depends on your circumstances and where you go, but yeah, there's always people out there looking to take your money. So yeah, and frankly, I don't have a whole lot of spare money anyway, so I get it. Skull Reaper, gotta do research on which schools offer what in the testimonials, but mentorships can get you there. Schools are just curated for knowledge. Some have very high return rates. I'm getting into studios. Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, I'm not bashing schools. It's kind of whatever works for anybody. Gonna get back to... All right. Gonna get my knee checked out. All right, Harjo. Well, thanks, Harjit. Thanks for coming in, and hope all goes well with your knee. I'm probably gonna be streaming off and on a good chunk of the day trying to get this done. So depending on when you're back, I'll be here. Hopefully getting this tackled. But the reality is, yeah, when it comes to getting a job, and I mean, I'm still an aspiring. I'm not working professional or anything, although I'm hoping to be. But one thing I'm told constantly is, yeah, nobody cares about your degree. They all care about your portfolio. But you know, again, schools work differently for different people. I'm the kind of person, just my personality, as soon as someone gives me a homework assignment and says you must do this and get graded on it, my initial instinct is just to go, nah, I don't wanna. And art for me has always been one of those things I just do for fun, because I don't get graded on it. I can just do what I want, and hopefully people like it. And there's this big boon with the independent comic sphere going on right now that's just awesome. I've been able to meet some great people as a result, and so yeah, so I'm gonna go that route and see where it goes. But yeah, the portfolio is the key, and the only way to get better at drawing anything is just to keep drawing and doing it. Yeah, I don't know. Call it rebellion, call it whatever. But, yeah, no, I've always had this thing where it's like, once I have to do it, like, once I'm required to do it, I'm just immediately just don't want to. Let's see. That light is... The light... I keep adjusting the light, but it keeps blowing out the page still. Here, one second. Well, yeah, if you're getting paid to do it, oh yeah, that's a very different thing for sure. Let's see, where's my camera? Let's see if I can bring the... Yeah, bear with me here. I'm just trying to adjust the camera, so hopefully we can see the pencil lines, because it seems like every time I adjust it, it just gets more and more exposure down just a little bit, maybe. There we go. Hopefully you can see that better. But yeah, so Skull Reaper, are you an artist yourself? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, it's like you get that point where it's like you watch tutorials and, you know, like you watch tutorials of, like, for example, I'm a big David Finch fan, and he's got an amazing YouTube channel where he gives you all kinds of tutorials and tips, and, you know, he makes it look super easy, and you just look at it and you go, oh, well, I can do that. And then until you try it, then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Why isn't this working? But, you know, I do have a film school background, and part of that was, you know, they taught you how to analyze and how to, you know, break down things that were working and things that weren't working, and, you know, how can you apply that to your own work. And so I've been able to, I've done a lot of that studying, trying to apply it to my own work and my own storytelling. Like, if anybody guys out there know Will Eisner, he's the creator of The Spirit and one of the all-time legends in the world of comics, and he's got a bunch of books all about comic book storytelling, and they are just gold mines. So let's see. I don't even know if we need to show this hand. We could probably just show the spear. Bro's the comic guy. Gotcha. Yeah, I've always been just a storytelling. I love storytelling, and yeah. So for a long time, I thought that was going to be film, but I've always been a fan of comics too, and so it just kind of the film thing didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped, and because, you know, when you're trying to tell certain types of stories, you know, especially when you're trying to do it on film, you got to worry about actors and budgets and locations and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm a fantasy sci-fi kind of geek, and, you know, when I come up with my characters, I have a very specific look for them, and yeah, exactly, great stories. But yeah, for me, it's like, I don't know. I've tried writing like prose novels, and I don't have the I just don't have that kind of capacity. But I don't know, comic books just seem to be the right fit for me in terms of my storytelling medium. I just love the immediacy of it. Yeah, video games is a great storytelling medium, man. One of my favorite video game trilogy of all time is the Mass Effect games. And I love that. I love those games. I love the stories. Just the fact that you can interact with things that just make you feel stuff. And yeah. Well, I mean, I'm an avid. I love reading novels too. I don't know if anybody knows who he is. Joe Abercrombie. He's quickly become one of my favorite authors over the last, 10 years. His Jenny Tartakovsky. That name sounds familiar. He's the animator, right? He's the guy that did is he the guy that did that Primal cartoon, and he also did some of the Clone Wars stuff? That's the guy I'm thinking of. Samurai Jack. Yeah. Yes, that guy's work is incredible. I confess I have not watched Primal yet, but yeah, I do need to. That's one that's on my list. But yeah, Samurai Jack was legit. I was a big fan of that stuff. Dude, man, yeah, if you can get away with, yeah, I'm all for it. I had a good critique when I was in film school. I wrote it was one of my screenwriting classes, and it's a critique I'll never forget. The guy, he read my script. There was a ton of dialogue in it, and he goes, "You just love the sound of yourself typing, don't you?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "There's way too much dialogue in this. You do not need Like, you're just over explaining everything. You're just conversation just going willy-nilly, and it's just like, yeah, people don't talk like that, or at least they may talk like that in real life, but that is not what you need in a movie. And you're like, yeah, that's true. So, and since then, I've kind of gone completely the other direction. I'm just like, if I can not put any words in it, then I'm a happy camper. Like, one movie I love, it's more of a recent movie, is Sisu. It's a just awesome action movie from Finland, and yeah, there is dialogue in it, but the main character doesn't say a single word until the very end of the movie, and it's just, oh, it's so good. It's like John Wick, but it's just this dude in Finland taking out Nazis. So if you're a fan of over-the-top action stuff, that's definitely one worth checking out. But yeah, no, Primal that's one on my list. I always joke, I have an actual Google document about all of the I have an actual Google document of all these movies and shows that I need to watch. I know it kind of became a joke where all my friends were like, "You went to film school and you haven't seen, such and such." And then I'm like, "Yeah, well, have you seen Rashomon? Then shut up," Yeah, exactly. Because there's this thing, once I was aware of it, I see it all the time. Like, I have this pet peeve with dialogue that a lot of TV shows writers do, where they just over-explain things. I like this metaphor of chili con queso. You can have spectacular salsa. It will make a simple Velveeta melt taste good, but the Velveeta melted tastes like melted Velveeta. I like that. I'm probably gonna have to steal that from you. But like, yeah, there's just something about the dialogue. Like, a lot of TV shows do that, or where they just over-explain everything. It's like they insult the viewer's intelligence. Like, one of my pet peeves is always the whole, "There was only one person I ever trusted with this information. It's you." And it's like, yeah, we got that. You didn't need to say the second part. But if you spend time making Kraft, 5 cheese blend, cream cheese Velveeta, cheddar Monterey Jack, you have this amazing queso, and it doesn't need the salsa, and vice versa. But combined, ooh, oh man, now you're making me hungry. But yes, I definitely agree with you there. There's, yeah, you can't let the well, especially in something like film, you got visuals, music, dialogue, you got all of these tools at your disposal, and yeah, ideally you don't want any of them one thing to overcrowd it. Now, there are some writers that are very dialogue centric, like Tarantino, for example. He'll just, when you watch Pulp Fiction, there'll be people just having conversations that seemingly have nothing to do with anything, and that's such a counterintuitive way of writing from what you're taught in film school. Like, if it doesn't serve the story, get rid of it. And but he's a guy that can make it work, and I think he's very much an exception to that rule. But learn the rules, learn how they work before you break them. But with comics, obviously, we don't have sound effects, but we got all these other things we can do in our, like, we can exaggerate to the nth degree. We can change panel sizes to simulate, intervals in time, and I don't know. There's just this immediacy to it. I can't stand when shows, like, yeah, a few seasons in, there's a shot of a meaningful object from season 1, when an emotional moment, then the writing strips it, running as a flashback to start. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like, yeah, we get it, people. We get it. I always say, one of my favorite written shows, at least more contemporary ones that I can think of, is the show Breaking Bad. There's a great scene where this guy's telling this horrific story of, something that he did when he was under the influence. And, the way he tells it, it's just really believable in the way someone would talk. Like, he kind of sets it up and he implies where it's going. So like you know where it's going, but he doesn't explicitly say it. You know, he just says it just enough to you know, make it just enough to give you an idea where it's going. Then he just kind of peters out the way he talks, but you as the audience, you know exactly where he's going, and it's just so much more effective. But yeah, that on the nose, yeah, love that. Thanks. Yeah, it's just, it's so good. You like, you don't need that. Or, you know, there's this thing in, like, if you ever watch, like, I've been going on an old movie kick lately. You know, like Maltese Falcon, for example. Talk about a movie that doesn't spell things out for you, you know. That movie just goes at a breakneck pace, and it just, you know, and it just leaves it up to you if you're gonna keep up or not. Yeah. There's this guy, the guy that directed the Finding Nemo movie, which movie? Maltese Falcon. It's a old 40s era film noir. It's starring Humphrey Bogart. It's one of the all-time classics. And it's just, man, it's, yeah. So I love it. It's a movie that it just throws all these twists and turns at you, and it doesn't, I mean, it explains everything in the end, but there's a good chunk of the movie where it intentionally just leaves you hanging. You're like, I don't know what's going on, but that's half the fun, because you're like, oh, well, she's got to be doing this, and oh, that guy's got to be working with these people, and oh, maybe these guys are doing that, and it's fun. Yeah, give it a watch, man. Yeah, a lot of those old 40s era film noir movies. Yeah, a lot of those old film noir movies. Another great one is called Double Indemnity. That one, I can't remember who wrote that movie, but yeah, again, the dialogue is very quick and snappy and sharp and witty, and it just kind of just moves, and it's just like, well, you know, hopefully you're paying attention, because yeah, exactly. Double Indemnity. Well, what also rocks with that movie is it's got the great Edward G. Robinson, who was one of the all-time greats. For such a short man, he could be so intimidating. You know, he's the guy, everyone loves to parody him. He's the guy that everyone parodies, going, yeah, see, listen to me, see. But I think that came from later on. But in the Double Indemnity, man, he is just such an awesome character. Yeah, Mel Brooks. Yeah. Another one of the greats. You know, that guy would throw so many references to like history and pop culture and all this stuff. And again, he wouldn't spell it out for you. He would leave it up to you to understand the references. But they were still funny without it. But once you did get it, it's like, oh my gosh, that's genius. Yeah, for sure. Like, one of his, in my opinion, one of his underrated movies is Dracula Dead and Loving It. It's a spoof of Dracula starring Leslie Nielsen, and it's great. But yeah, there's a lot of those. Dracula Dead and Loving It. If you love Mel Brooks, check it out. So it's written and directed by Mel Brooks, and it's starring Leslie Nielsen from the Naked Gun movies. It's genuinely funny, and there's so many like just blatant parodies on a lot of Dracula movies and stuff from the time, like the Francis Ford Coppola, the Gary Oldman Dracula movie had just come out like a year or so before and was this huge popular movie. And they lampoon that movie so hard. Yeah, exactly. Well, Mel Brooks, he was like, look, is it funny? Then we're doing it. I think it's great. Like, one of my favorite movies of his of all time is Blazing Saddles. I love the satire in that movie, and you know, he was just very fearless, and it was funny, and he just poked fun at everybody, which is how it should be. And yeah, I love that stuff. I can't quote half that movie on the internet, otherwise I get canceled. But which is sad. But I love that movie, dude. Blazing Saddles is fantastic. It's not for those. I will say it is not for those that are easily offended. But if you can laugh, then I think you'll love it. Because, well, the whole point of that movie, I mean, there's a lot of people nowadays that you know, attack the movie for saying it's just such a racist movie, and it's like, the point of that movie was to point out how stupid racism was. And so, Tropic Thunder is a great movie. Oh, yes. But yeah, but with Blazing Saddles, the whole point was to show how stupid racism was, and so to do that, he just made probably one of the most like over-the-top racial joke-based movies ever, and it's hilarious, and he pokes fun at everybody. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It's like, just stop taking life too seriously, man. Yeah, no, I remember when Tropic Thunder came out. That was, I love that movie. I still find myself quoting that movie every so often. Now I get it. You was fighting the bathtubs and lapping your ass off. I really don't like what this hand is doing. Let's see. You know what? Let's just cheat it. Let me go like this. But yeah, no, Tropic Thunder is one of my all-time favorite comedies. Up there with like Airplane and Office Space. Well, and again, I was in film school at the time when that movie came out, so the fact that it made fun of Hollywood just the way it did, I mean, that made it extra funny to me. Wrathful peacekeeper, so consumed by justice, undeniable and only true. Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm kind of doing that a little bit actually with my barbarian character. His name is Dominai, and this guy right here. I got a full-on face shot of him somewhere, but you can find him on my socials. But yeah, his whole thing is, you know, he's this very highly seasoned, you know, warrior. He's, you know, got all these songs and legends made after him, and you know, he's got nothing to prove at this point. But you know, and in his youth, he was one of those guys that was constantly seeking glory in battle, kind of your stereotypical, you know, like Conan type barbarian thing. But then something happened in his life that I may or may not say, where he learned that, you know what, violence is not, like, violence for violence sake is no longer, you know, what he wants to do. But he knows that he, you know, he has some wrongs he needs to right, and violence is all he knows. I'm stealing a quote from, there's a real life Green Beret that I follow a lot. His name is Tim Kennedy, and he has this great quote where he said, "The only thing that stops evil men intent on violence is good men who are better at it." And so that is Dominai. He views violence as something that he is very comfortable with, more so than he would like to admit at times, but it's a necessary evil to help so people that need it. And so, yeah, so instead of being like, yeah, let's go draw some blood, he's more almost reluctant and kind of sad about it, because he's like, oh, now I have to kill these people. But he's still a barbarian, so like when the battle's on, it's on. And you're gonna see that happening here in a few pages. Spoilers. But right now we're setting up this girl. Yeah, I wanted somewhat of a more heroic archetype. But I still want to do that barbarian trope. Because I love barbarian fantasy. And, I mean, there's obviously exceptions. But I think... I just think there hasn't been a lot of great barbarian stuff lately. Yeah, I kind of want to throw my hat in the ring on that. And of course, I'm sure there's exceptions. Like, well, one I can think of is Core Draft by Andy Smith. That's a comic book series. That's pretty darn good. You know, there was a bunch of barbarian books like in the 70s and 80s. But I don't know. Lately, it's just been kind of, I don't know, whatever. Okay, actually, hold on. I want to make sure I'm making him look right. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Let's see. So I'm trying to make him look like this guy. This dude right here. It's supposed to be this guy. So I got to shrink up his nose quite a bit. I got to move his nose up a bit higher here. Let's go with the smaller pencil. Yeah, so it's going to be a barbarian action horror kind of book. So I think it'll be pretty fun. He's got some thinner eyebrows, so I don't want to... And since I am going to be inking this myself, I don't have to worry about making the lines too perfect, but I do kind of want to make sure they're clean enough that I'm not sitting here going, what was I thinking? So what about you, Scroll Reaper? What are some movies or TV or comics or games or anything like that that you've been enjoying lately? Chinese philosophy called Wude? Wude? Okay. What is that all about? I'm not familiar with it. Please tell me more. I love learning new things. Okay, I'm gonna call that. Strong is about crushing people, it's about controlling yourself. Peak martial arts. Peak restraint, you can end the fight, but you choose not to destroy. Yeah. Okay, I agree with. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I've seen that kind of thing mentioned in a lot of kung fu movies. I guess I didn't realize that was the name for it, but yeah. This restraint is higher expression of power because it keeps violence. Yeah, for sure. And that's unfortunately for Dominai's sake, that's probably not the way he's going to approach things. But yeah, but Dominai, he's going to do everything he can to prevent the fight, but. You know, when a fight comes on, well, when a fight starts, like if someone draws a weapon and attacks him, he's just gonna go, okay, well, I'm sad, but I'm regretful that this happened, but you know what? You made your choice, so you're going down. And, you'll see that. But a Master Wood would, for sure, for sure. Woode, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, definitely. Okay. I think it's Woode. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm saying that like I know. But, okay. So where is my... Alright. So let's go ahead and see if we can tackle this bottom panel here. Let's see. Can I go anywhere? Awesome. Yeah, I don't pretend to know any Chinese. I have a buddy of mine. His wife is from China, and the big joke is they call it Cantonese because you can't learn it. And you know, it's like, yeah, I don't see any fault in that logic. So. Yeah, hey, yeah, it's like one of those, if you're not born to it, it's like, yeah, good luck. Because, like, just the tone and the pitch you're using in your voice can say a whole different word. I have a hard enough time with English, so I couldn't imagine. Sure, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know, but yeah, I've heard some examples. It was like my buddy's wife, yeah, we used the term, was it gao? And it's like, depending on the pitch, it's either like stop or like one other pitch is like goat or something like that. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, just depending on the pitch, like if say higher or lower, it's just a completely different word. For me, it's like, even if they were just like different, you know, like conjugations of a word, but still the same word, but the conjugation would depend on the pitch. Like that I could at least make a little bit more sense of, but from my understanding, Cantonese, it's like, nah, it's just a completely different word. So I just say, you know what? Hey, all power to you. All power to you. Those that can speak it, awesome. Maybe one day, but I want to learn Korean, then learn Japanese. Okay, gotcha. I've been told that Japanese, as far as speaking Japanese, I've been told that it's not super complicated, but it's reading Japanese that gets challenging, from my understanding. Yeah, I did take a... No, I did one time get on YouTube, and I found this free little how to draw, you know, like speaking Japanese kind of thing, and they were getting a little bit into the alphabet and trying to, you know, teaching all the different, well, the 3 different alphabets they have and all that stuff, and I was just like, yeah, nope. Like, I'm okay with Spanish. I'm not by any means fluent in it, but that's about it. Let's see. There's just so many characters in Japanese, so if I get sentence structure because it's kind of like Yoda speak. Store on my bike, I go. Yeah, something like that for sure. Well, the other thing that threw me off too, like, or I shouldn't say threw me off, but I just found interesting is, in Japanese, like you don't apparently have any inflections like on syllables. You don't emphasize any syllables like you do in English. So I found that a little interesting. So like, you know, if you want to say, you know, like konnichiwa as a native English speaker, you'd be like, yeah, konnichiwa. But in there they'd say konnichiwa. So when you're trying to learn like 40 hiragana characters, then you need to get into kanji and the sentence structure. Yeah. Well, I know one of the alphabets is based on Chinese, right? And that's, I heard something like there's like 3,000 different characters or something like that. Yeah, is that kanji that does that? Okay. Oh, okay. So Korean's a little more simple. Okay. Interesting. Korean's language was reinvented by a leader from like the 1800s or something. Gotcha. Okay. Korean would be kind of cool actually, because there's been some great movies and stuff coming out of Korea that would be kind of fun to get the actual dialogue or be able to understand it, the native dialogue, without having to read subtitles or listen to dubbing. Just making it easier for peasants and people with little money for schooling to learn. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. Her gesture is coming a little stiff here, so I want to kind of. Great way to get in with heaps of K-dramas. For sure. But like I said, I have a hard enough time with English, and there's a lot of people I know that are like, they speak English well, but they're native Spanish speakers. So if I'm going to focus on a different language, it's going to be Spanish. Oh, Mulholland Drive. Yes, I've heard of that one. I've heard that's good. I've not seen that one. That's the David Fincher movie, right? David Lynch. I don't know why. I always say David Fincher. Yeah, that's what I meant. But thanks. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I've heard that's really good. Yeah. One of the movie like that I love is Fincher's The Hannibal. Did he direct Hannibal? I can't remember. But I can't remember. Yeah, did he do that? I don't know. But anyway, another one of those movies I love that really just messes with your brain is Memento by Christopher Nolan. By the end of that movie, you're just questioning all of reality. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, I just remember the first time I saw that movie, I was sitting here just questioning all of reality. I was just like, what is going on? I don't understand it. Okay, let's do that. Here. And it doesn't explain it. Memento lets you pick up the pieces, but Mulholland will just confuse you. Gotcha. Okay, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people recommend that movie. Yeah, no joke, dude. I have a whole Google Doc made of list of all these movies that I need to see. I know it's leaves you 10 clues. Okay, so I'll have to pay attention to it. But yeah, it's let's see. Completely lost my train of thought. Sorry. Those are the... Oh, wait, the asterisks are the clues? Gives your head even with them. Okay, all right. I'm all for it. So I will definitely give that a shot. Anyway, yeah. So, oh yeah, that's what I have a yeah, I don't have links turned on here on, but I am on the socials on under Golem Wolf. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. So if you want to DM it to me there, I'll take a look, or DM me anything there. I'll gladly take a look at it. But yeah, no, I have a Google document list of all these movies that I need to see at some point. You know, my friends used to kid me because it was always those, you went to film school and you haven't seen such and such movie. Oh, thanks, Skull Reaper. Appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, see people like, you haven't seen such and such, and then I'll say, yeah. I'll be like, no, but have you seen Roshamone's? And they'll be like, just need to follow back so I can DM. Oh, okay. I thought I had DM it. I thought I had my DMs open. What's going on? Bear with me here one moment. All right, follow back. Really? That's strange. I thought I had my DMs open to anybody. I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh. Guess I didn't have that set. There we go. Okay, yep, there it goes. I got it. Okay. Awesome. Well, I will, yeah, I see that there. Okay. I suppose I should probably see the movie first before I look those over, I'm guessing. But, I will, keep that in mind. Thanks, man. That's cool. No, I love that stuff. I can't promise how quickly I'll get to it, but but yes, I will definitely check that out. Let's see. Gotcha. Trying to push the foreshortening here. Yeah, no, it sounds like, I'm gonna have to watch it and make my own conclusions first before I look that stuff up. It's like the ultimate I Spy book. Oh, dude. Oh, that takes me back. I used to love the I Spy books back in the day. You definitely sold me. Oh, that takes me back, man. Yeah, we had a bunch of those in my house back in the day. I didn't have the greatest attention span as a kid, so I was great. You know, I could do those for a while, but as soon as I got into a spot where like I was stuck, I would immediately just, you know, just give up on it. But yeah, man, those things are a lot of fun. Nice reference, man. Yeah, I'm a 90s kid, so yeah, I Spy books were very, very prevalent in my household. We had zoo books. You were rich. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I definitely didn't have any zoo books. Oh man, good times. Well, I remember like my doctor's offices and stuff would have those. Oh, what's they're called? Those. They had me at Dinosaur. What were those? Were they highlights? I think is what they were called. They were like these magazines for kids, and they would have, they would always have those kind of I Spy sections. And I remember it always bothered me because every once in a while you'd pull one out while you're waiting in the waiting room, and some doofus went in with a pen and circled everything and ruined it for you. I'd be so mad. Like, oh man. Ruin it for everybody. I wanted to find the broom at the farm. That's one for the Trump bank, exactly. Yeah, I never caught anybody doing it, otherwise, man, we would have had words. But yeah, that was always a point of contention. I really want to give her that look of like she's leaping in the air. Let's see. Do you have the history books with the white Egyptian dude? Oh, of course. Of course. And as soon as you mentioned that, I completely forgot what they were called now. But yes. Always marked up. Oh, yeah. For sure. But yeah, some kid kind of eye patch or something. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I always loved those little encyclopedia books. They were all pure white, and they just had a bunch of static pictures of, like everything from tanks to trains to whatever. Of course, I'm blanking on the name of those now too. Oh man, good times. I wouldn't mind some, right? I remember I was talking about this with somebody the other day. As a '90s kid, one of the it's just 3-1 or something. Yeah, probably something like that. But back in the day, we had those. They were a ball that you had a ring around it attached to this kind of hard plastic string, and you would slip your ankle through it, and then you'd roll it around, kind of like a hula hoop around your ankle, and you'd basically jump over it with the other leg while it's skipping around. And it had this little counter in it to tell you how many times it was spinning. But when you screwed up, the thing would just slam into your shins. And it was, yeah, I don't know if any of you guys remember those. I remember having a lot of bruised shins as a kid every time I tried to play with one of those. My cousins had one of those, and my mom could always tell when I was playing with it because I'd come home with these just black and blue shins. And because the thing had a counter, like it would count how many times you rotated, so that made a competition out of it, right? And it's like, well, she got more. Yeah, well, she got 20 skips. I can't let her beat me, so of course I got to go more. I don't care how many times I get whacked in the shins by it. Yeah, it was a big, heavy plastic ball. It would just whack you right in the shin. Good times. Okay. Now for this part. Since these are faces that are upside down, I'm just going to turn the page upside down so I can draw those easier. Let me adjust the camera like so. Let's see how we go. Yeah, so here she's... Oh yeah, oops, I gotta give her the... Make sure the shirt stayed closed. Okay. Yeah, so this is the page where, this is the panel where you first see those gauntlets in action. So these guys are getting a needle right, yeah, they're getting one of those needle spikes right between their eyes. And I'm trying to make it as in your face as possible. And also try not to make it super wacky. Because this couldn't, yeah, if I screw this up, it could easily become more comical than I intended. So, I foresee myself erasing this quite a bit. Let's see. This guy has the beard, so... His head tilted slightly. So I want it to be like this guy's just getting yanked back, like his head's just getting whipped back at you. Let's see. Actually, having the OBS up and seeing it on a smaller screen is actually quite helpful. Let's see. Kind of. I think this song sounds like it's supposed to be a not Tool song, which I'm not sad about. Yeah, I just got some generic music playing in the background, keeping it low. I don't even know if you guys can hear it or not. Or if it's too obnoxious or whatnot, who knows. Yeah, so it's this guy right here. So he's going to have the hair. And he's got the mustache. I think I might shrink those eyes a bit. It's kind of a cartooning trick when you're trying to make a character look tougher. You can shrink the eyes. It just kind of gives them that more tough look. When the eyes are big, it just kind of gives it that cute kind of baby look almost. Or a very feminine look, and that is not at all what I want for this guy. I want him to be, even though he's dead now. Let's see. Let's have this going way up there. Okay, yeah, that's working. Then we'll have the needle. We'll have one of the needles right here. Going out like that. That's gonna be some blood. I'll add all the bloods and the whatnots a little later, but just want to make sure the face proportions and everything work. Can always refine it later. Okay, so we have that. Now, let's get the teeth there. Try shading that in. Hold on, I want the... There's got to be a method to the blood splatter. Here, let's see. Let's just make sure this eye is where it should be. There we go. Okay. Gave him kind of thicker eyebrows. Hopefully that makes sense what's happening there. Let's see. So I'm not really used to drawing faces upside down, so this is kind of a challenge for me, but a good one. Hopefully it turns out well. So then we got this guy. You know what? Let's try this. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Yeah, I want him to have a couple spikes like that, just kind of. Yeah, she's really good with these gauntlet spike shooters. Let's see. This is that bald guy, so he's got a pretty low, pretty short forehead, pretty short nose, big jaw. So his eyes are here. This guy's mad about it. He's clearly dead, but he's still mad about it. Just have the spike coming out like that. Another one like that. Another one like that. So she's just got 3 of them, just like bam, 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 right there in the face. So I know this is jumping all over the place, but hopefully at least kind of makes some sense what I'm trying to do here. Well, actually, it shouldn't. Yeah, because his head would be moving first and his shoulders haven't quite caught up with him yet, so the shoulder should be falling forward, like. Okay. Let's see how we're going. 2.5 hours we've been going. Yeah, I'm going to come back to that blood splatter. I'm going to come back to that. Try to make that work a little better. Let's see. Sorry, I realize I've been drawing this off frame. Let me fix that again. There we go. She's gonna have all these. Okay. Well, we're approaching the 2.5 hour mark, and I think I've gotten about as far as I can get on this page right now without looking some stuff up, and I don't know. I'm a little bit stuck on some of the things I want to do, and so that's going to require some research and some other stuff that I am gonna have to do later or off stream. But so I think this is right now a good spot to call it for me. So those that have stayed around, hung out, Harjit 4334, appreciate you. Skull Reaper, thank you so much for hanging out, man. I do try to stream more regularly, and I always do a Tuesday night stream. 7 o'clock Central Time, where I draw a specified character, a specific character, start to finish, trying to do a sketch. Every Tuesday night Central Time. This week I'm probably going to be drawing the Penguin. That was a request. So yeah, hang out, man. If you want, if Skull Reaper, if you're able to hang out, I'd appreciate it. If you feel like supporting me, I do have a coffee page. The link is on the screen here. I do offer commissions as well as sell the original art from those sketches streams. So, had a wood chip hit my eye, managed to recover. Oh, geez. Hope you're okay. Well, I'm glad you recovered. That's not fun. But anyway, yeah, flushed it out luckily. Good. All right. Well, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it sounds like you have a pretty tough eye, so Awesome. But I appreciate it. Have a good one. Thanks, man. Yeah, well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so keep an eye out. Again, I'll hopefully see you tomorrow night for my Tuesday night live stream. Otherwise, I will see you all next time.